It's time for this month's
Budget Bombs!
Powerful commander cards for under $1.
I'm your host, Joe Cherries.
I'm your host, BZ, and that makes us the Nitpicking Nerds, and we're not going to yell for the rest of the video. And to thank us for not yelling, you can give us your own personal money that you worked hard for to make our channel better because you love it so much.
Yes, that would be patreon.com, a way to support us directly. All of our patrons we love as much as we can without making them uncomfortable, obviously.
Especially Levi Stevenson, who is the patron of this video.
Thank you so much, Levi Stevenson. You're amazing. TCG Player is a place you can go to support the Nitpicking Nerds using our affiliate link in the description below. Click that link, buy the magic cards you're going to buy anyway. Same price, same place, same shipping time. Same cards. Yep, same shipping time. And guess what? You get the cards, nerds get supported.
And it's no extra money for you. Also, I'm going to challenge you to go a step further and just bookmark our affiliate link so you cannot forget to ever use it, and you don't have to worry about it. And we're sponsored by Moxfield. They're a really cool company, and we're going to talk about them in the middle of the video, and you're not going to be able to tell when that's going to happen. Happy birthday to everyone whose birthday is today. I think going forward, there may be a few birthday sponsors.
I've been trying to book the birthday sponsor.
We're coming up close.
I want to book the birthday sponsor. Who wants to sponsor birthdays? If you're birthday happy, sponsor us.
You think that people who would sponsor it are watching?
Yeah, right now. I hope
Let's
so.
talk about powerful commander cards for under $1.
Yes, let's hop right into it because this whole video is literally powerful commander cards for under $1, as BZ always says. And we have 15 for you. Let's just start at the first one. Cloud Key. This card was $20, $30 for a long time. Then I got a reprint in Time Spiral Remastered, and that brought it way down, like $4, $5. Great reprint, brought it way down in price. And then right now, it's in a standard set as the retro artifact for Brothers War, and it is 93 cents. If you've ever wanted a Cloud Key for your deck, now is the time to get it.
It went from chase rare to nothing. It's a nothing card now. You can buy 10 of them for like $8. Cloud Key is insane. It's super strong, especially if you're trying to reduce. What I think of most is artifacts and creatures with this, where it's like, I have 50 creatures or 50 artifacts, Cloud Key's going to be great.
I'm higher on artifacts because Cloud Key's an artifact. So it's so perfect. Like, in your creature deck, you have to play a non-creature card. So it's like, it has some downside. It's just an artifact for your artifact deck, which is perfect.
I'd say it's the perfect card to tap with something like Shimmer Dragon, which is 50 cents, and it lets you tap 2 artifacts to draw a card, and it probably has hexproof because you're playing it in an artifact deck. This is like one of the better top ends. This is like fair artifact consecrated Sphinx. That's how I look at it.
It is. It's very, very good. And it's annoying because it's hard to remove because as long as you control 3 artifacts, which in your artifact deck you obviously do, it has hexproof. Card is silly good. It taps all of your things like Cloud Key that don't tap. They don't attack.
You're not losing anything by tapping them.
Exactly. You're not losing anything. You're just gaining cards. I'm a huge fan. Plus, you can get the cool old border one for about 50 cents too. From the Dad Bod Urza deck.
Yes, Shimmer Dragon is very, very annoying.
I like Shimmer Dragon.
Shimmer Dragon. Also, Ornithopter of Paradise is way less annoying, but it's kind of like a bread and butter, hold your deck together card. It's 20 cents. It's an artifact creature that taps for any color, and it's flying. It's not a card I ever play unless I have a reason to, and as long as I'm on a budget, this kind of makes, every once in a while, it just makes a deck. Like, oh, Ninjas gets a flyer, or like, cost reduced tribal gets a 2-drop that makes mana.
Yeah, exactly. I care about artifact creatures in Dad Bod Urza. It's perfect there. That's what you have to find a reason to play this guy. This isn't an auto-include staple, I think, because I think you want to play talismans and all that stuff first. But if you care about this creature, you care about the flyer, you care that it's an artifact, any of these reasons, I'm in. 100%. Ornithopter of Paradise is great on a budget, and there are decks when you have a good enough reason that want it off a budget.
Even like equipment decks, it does wear equipment. And also, if you were ever going to play Iron Mirror or Copper Mirror or any of that cycle, play Ornithopter of Paradise first.
Yeah, exactly. If you're playing the mirror in your deck, this card is 20 cents. Just get this card.
It's also better than all the mirror, yeah.
It is better than all the mirror.
Next is Overwhelming Remorse. It's 4 and a black for an instant to exile a creature. Oof, but costs 1 less for each creature card in your graveyard, and it's not Delve, so you just get the free bonus, and you don't have to do anything else. So it's basically 1 mana in your graveyard decks, exile a creature. It's 17 cents. This is your budget Snuff Out, your budget Deadly Rollick. I think this is a budget staple in these black graveyard decks.
I agree. I think it's 100% a budget card. I could see maybe stretching to it in some occasions in your less budget decks, but on a budget, this card is 100% the definition of a budget bomb. Like BZ said, all those good removal spells, the best removal spells in black, are a ton of money. They're like $15, $10, $40 for deadly relic. So if you can't afford those and you just want something that's going to be cheap interaction, this is perfect.
Yeah, I also think this card is just straight up better than Murderous Cut. So if you were playing that in anything, I think you can just swap it out for Overwhelming Remorse. I don't want to exile cards from my graveyard when I fill my graveyard. I want it to just stay full, please.
I think there are definitely decks that still want Murderous Cut, like when you have a lower creature count.
If you're like blue-black control.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Then you probably don't want Murderous Cut, though, right?
Well, on a budget, you still.
Ooh, I guess we're on a budget.
Yeah, we're talking about a budget. Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. I'm talking about a deck with not a lot of creatures. I think any deck with a high creature count
that can also fill its graveyard.
You can take out the Murderous Cut and put this in.
So I would say 99% of the time, Overwhelming Remorse is your guy.
I think it's a slight over-exaggeration.
94.
Okay, I'll take it 94. All right, let's move on to the next one, which is Idol of Oblivion, a card we have been super high on for a long time. It's only like 48 cents, and guess what? We got Old Border 1 from one of the decks. It's super cool.
Yep, taps to draw a card, and if you're making tokens in a token deck, it taps to draw a card every turn, which makes it way better than like Phyrexian Arena.
Yes, the key to this card being better than Phyrexian Arena is tapping the turn it comes out. We talk about this all the time. If a card gets you your card back when it comes out versus a turn later, it is way better. This also costs 2 mana and has a backup mode of just making a big Eldrazi when you need it.
Yeah, I don't think I've even done that yet, but I'm glad it's there because there's a lot of games where I look at it and I go, okay, if I don't draw anything over X turns, I'll just make it 10-10 or an 8-8 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but the funniest thing is the reason you never activate it is because this is drawing you cards, right?
I would rather just draw cards.
Exactly. Well, I'm saying this is drawing you cards.
So you never run out of action.
So you never run out of action, so you just keep playing stuff and you just keep going.
Yeah, another card we play all the time is Soul Guide Lantern. Is 22 cents, and it hates a card out of a graveyard. Then you can either cantrip it or hate all opponents' graveyards and just exile them. We strongly advocate playing at least 1 or 2 graveyard hate spells in your deck. This has a very low opportunity cost since it's an artifact, which your deck may care about already, and it cantrips if you don't need it, while also still taking out the most important card in a graveyard.
Yeah, Soul Guide Lantern is one of the best ways to hit out graveyards because it doesn't hit your graveyard. This card is silly good. It's literally exiled the other 3 players' graveyards. There's not ways to do that. There's like 1 or 2 really good ones, and it's like, how do you get this? You don't get this anywhere else.
No, nothing else gives this to you at a fair rate that it can also cash the card in if you don't need it. It cycles, and it hates all graveyards. I really can't ask for more out of these 1-mana graveyard hate rocks. I like it better than Relic of Progenitus. I like it better than Silent Gravestone and all those crappy ones.
Yeah, I agree. In Relic of Progenitus, not budget at all. It's like $5, that card.
And it's worse, I think.
It's worse in a lot of situations, but if you don't care about your graveyard at all, then it is better. But most decks have at least a little bit of graveyard play.
Yeah, if you don't care at all, I would actually suggest you go back and change something so that you care.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Moving on, we have Wizards of They. This is an awesome card that has Myriad. It lets you cast your sorceries at instant speed. Does it do anything else?
It reduces your instant sorceries by 1.
That's actually the really important part of this card because when you attack and you get the Myriad, now your instant sorceries are reduced by 3, which is just amazing. And giving those instant sorceries, or specifically sorceries flash, means you can just go off in the middle of your combat before blocks, before they have a chance to do anything.
4. Reduced by 4.
And don't worry, I have corrected BZ off camera. It is 3, not 4. BZ has just gone completely insane.
It doesn't matter. 3 is actually one of the key numbers because it starts reducing your cards to 0 generic mana, like Fact or Fiction and Chemist's Insight, and all of those 3 and a blue draw 2 pluses. All those cards get
reduced. Deep Analysis.
And Deep Analysis is great because you can flash it back right away. You just start chaining spells. Mystic Confluence. Oh, blue, bounce all the blockers, get the real one through so that I can attack next turn. Wizards of Day is actually like a huge threat, and it doesn't even look that good.
Oh, God. Deep Analysis is blue, pay 3 life, draw 4 cards.
I'm in. And then you're going to draw more or draw more like interaction to stop the blockers. Like, I've attacked Wizards of Day into a creature that will kill it because I know I'm going to draw 5 cards and I'll get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. Wizards of Day it's an overperformer. Mm-hmm. We talked about it in that series specifically.
But it's so cheap.
But it's also a budget bam.
Budget bam.
Yeah. Next is a big, chunky, beefy boy. And you know I love my big, chunky, beefy boys. It is Drakuzeth, Maw of Flame. It's 90 cents. And this is one of the perfect top ends for red decks when you're on a budget.
Yeah, the BCBB, the big chunky beefy boy. So we're going to start calling him. It dishes out 10 damage divided 3 ways as it attacks. Or 11 damage, actually. No, 10 damage. I was right. And it's a 7/7 with flying. You really want to give this haste. As soon as you can give this haste in a budget deck, this is one of the most dominant creatures on the battlefield.
Yeah, but even in a budget deck, it's like you can just cast this for 7 and often untap with it because budget removal is a lot weaker. Even if they are playing a bunch of removal, it's a lot weaker. Drakuseth is just a silly strong card when you get him for the attack because it dishes out the 10 plus it deals 7 because it's a 7/7/5.
17. You throw extra combats in, game's probably over.
Yeah, exactly. You can literally dome like 17-point life swing, just knock your opponents down 17 life, or remove 3 of the biggest threats off the battlefield because this thing can target whatever.
Yeah, by itself, if you want to hit one player for the max damage, it can deal 11 to one player between the 7 and the 4.
And remove their probably the 2 best creatures.
Yeah, you just take them out of the game, basically. This card's pretty sweet. I've had good success in budget decks. Also a card that Cherries came around on because they read it wrong. It's Callous Blood Mage, 23 cents, 2 and a black for a 2/1. You either draw a card and lose a life, make a pest, or exile target player's graveyard.
Yeah, I misread this card as exile 1 card from a graveyard, which is why I thought this card just stunk, and I was so confused why BZ was so high in it for so long. But now I get it. This thing cycles when you need to cycle, and it's graveyard hate when you need it, and it has another mode that you're never going to pick.
Sometimes if you want 2 bodies, it can make a pest.
It does. It does make a pest. It's going to be, I think it is very rare that you pick that, but it's there. And if you need a piece of graveyard hate for some sort of aristocrat deck, this is perfect.
This is the one, because it's a creature. It's not like some people might be averse to putting like, oh, Soul Guy Lantern, it's not a creature, it doesn't work, it's not on theme. Well, here you go, Callous Blood Mage.
Yeah, Callous Blood Mage, I'm definitely going to try it in a deck because I was so low on it because I really read it wrong, but this card actually I think is just strong.
I'm going to put it in my Ashnod deck because I found a few slots that I can free up, the cards that just didn't do that good, and this is like the mode I want the most is the stupid pest.
You do want the pest the most, but
it does 2 other great things.
It does 2 other great things when you need it to.
That sounds a lot like Moxville.com because Moxville.com is constantly doing 2 other great things that I didn't even know it could do every time I log on to the site.
Exactly, and we have every single one of our decks on that website. We build decks all the time. BZ just built Ashnod the other day.
Yeah, and I've brewed like 2 decks since then.
What decks have you brewed? Tell them.
I was looking at Mono Blue Mill with Zelix. No, don't steal my idea. And also, I was going back to that Abzan Ikra Shadiki Prava deck. I want to build it.
Yeah.
I started building it forever ago.
Yeah, BZ's been brewing tons of decks. Check them out, and they're all public, so you can see and you can comment and be like, hey, I like this about the deck. I don't like this about the deck. Oh, sort your deck however you want. If you have your decks on there, once you start building on this website, so many ways to sort. Mana value, type,
tags,
price. Literally customize how your stuff is sorted. Tags are so helpful.
I just can't recommend Moxfield enough, but I'm gonna try.
Yeah, have we gone on long enough? Because I could talk about Moxfield forever.
Hopping on down the list, we got Gale Waterdeep Prodigy, 18 cents. It's a legend with background, but we're not talking about as a commander. This is budget bombs. This is in the 99. This thing actually just casts way too many spells, and you kind of have to kill it.
Yeah, exactly. When you're playing a spell slinger deck, you're always gonna have instant sorceries in your graveyard because that's your whole game plan. So now when you cast that Preordain later in the game and it's like, wow, what value can I get? Well, now I'll cast Opt from my graveyard just for free to get extra value.
And even on the end step, you can reverse it and now cast sorceries with Flash and go end step Opt, trigger Gale, cast Preordain at the end step still.
Yeah, Gale just gets you a ton of card advantage and just needs removal. Every time Gale's on the battlefield, if it isn't answered, it runs away with the game every single time.
I mean, it's like, oh, Eternal Witness, I can get back my best card. And Gale's like, if you cast any spell, you can get back your best card and cast it right now.
Yeah, exactly, because you're a spell slinger deck. You're already playing 40 spells in your deck. Of course, the best spells in your deck are instants and sorceries.
I mean, Gale plus Wizards of They, if you untap with those cards, it seems like the game's just over.
Well, you're certainly going to generate enough value to put yourself in a position to most likely win the game.
Yeah, a card I think of that's really good with both of these cards is Volcanic Torrent, where it's like, you either make it cost 2 mana and you cast it during combat, or you're just like, cast it, then cast an instant, then cast it again, and just...
Yeah, Volcanic Torrent, that card's
amazing.
And just in case you didn't know, red is the color you're going to play because Spellslinger is red blue.
Yeah, if you did not know the colors of Spellslinger, now you do. You also know that Rabble Rousing is our next budget bomb, and it's 5 mana, you hide something away, and now you're going to get... I don't know, static. It's like a static ability. You just start getting citizens whenever you attack. So any 1/1 you attack with is a free roll, and you can get any value out of it dying or being blocked or trading off, and not have to worry about it because you have one back on defense.
Yeah, and it's so easy to trigger to get the hideaway. Because
to get 10 creatures, that's nothing.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Attack with 5 creatures.
You can literally just wait until you have 5 creatures on the battlefield, play this, get the card from under it, play it, because it's hideaway 5, so you're going to find something good.
That's pretty deep.
It's pretty deep. It doesn't matter. Throw away your creatures. You'll get new creatures. This card is silly. I have it in my Ishin deck. It gets extra silly because it's like, all right, I attacked with 3 creatures. All right, I have 9 creatures now.
Yeah, and 4 triggers the 10.
Yeah, I think this card is just a staple of both budget and non-budget token decks.
It's so good. I'm actually putting it in that Ikoro Shidiki token deck, too. I looked at it and I was just like, yes, please.
You just run it runs away so much faster than look. And here's a secret about the card. The tokens it make get to attack next turn so that you get more tokens.
It doesn't say non-citizens. It's just a great, amazing card that you should probably be playing.
Yeah. Next is a card that we're just got to tell you how great this card is.
Needs no introduction.
It doesn't. It's Chaos Warp. Under $1. Seriously, you can get the old border one from the awesome decks. This card is one of the best removal spells in the format. Definitely one of the best catch-alls, especially when you're playing red.
Yeah, you can't answer enchantments as a red deck or a red-black deck or really a red-black-blue deck. So this is like one of the only ways you have to do that. It's an instant speed, and it doesn't really blow you out that much. It's really hard to get punished by this card if you haven't played with it. Very rarely happens, but part of the thing that I like is casting it is a correct move. It is a good move to Chaos Warp something. But the 1 in 100 chance that you get blown out actually makes this card more fun.
It does, exactly. That's actually something about this card that is unique to Chaos Warp, is that it is a fun removal spell.
And it's still objectively powerful.
It's objectively powerful. It answers any permanent on the battlefield when it needs to, and it adds this layer of what's it going to be? And everyone's hoping they flip the same thing. I think it's really funny if you Chaos Warp a Tibble on the backside, and then even if they flip the same card...
Yeah, any MDFCs that you Chaos Warp cannot come back on the backside.
Which is hilarious. It's just such a funny little interaction.
And if you're scared about playing Chaos Warp because they might get something good, have you ever tried using it on your own things? Because you might get something good.
Yeah, exactly.
Desperation. We've all been there.
Yeah. You could use it on your Wood Elves, which is also a budget bomb, and currently about 25 cents. 3 mana, Elf, comes down, gets you a force, it's untapped. Doesn't have to be a basic, so you can get dual lands, you can get shock lands, you can get triumphs.
This is another card I'm playing over Cultivate and Kodama's Reach just every time. If I have the tiniest sliver of synergy with this, I'm going to play Wood Elves.
Yeah, when you're a creature-based deck, which most green decks are, Wood Elves kind of just has a nice upside over the Cultivate effects because your deck synergizes with creatures. If you're playing a Beast Whisperer, if you're playing anything that cares about elves, it's so easy to close. Have a Skull Clamp in your deck? You can't Skull Clamp Cultivate.
You can't. You're going to get 1 extra card off Cultivate right away, and then nothing ever again for the rest of the game. And what else is hey man, I'm in your graveyard if you need to cast me or return me or do something. Oh, I have 1 toughness if you want to kill me. I don't know if they would suggest that.
That's what they always do.
Come on.
They would also I love Skull Clamp.
But I plug that into the back of my head? All right.
Yeah,
they're really enthusiastic.
Yeah.
You should get them.
You should get them, and you should get a Skull Clamp too. But that's not a budget buy.
Yeah, kind of Cultivate for it and see how it works.
Yeah, and if you're playing a plus counters deck, and it has red in it, Krenko Tin Street Kingpin is actually a very
surprisingly annoying.
Yeah, exactly. This was a card that when it first came out, I remember he was it was such a disappointment because the other Krenko was so cool and everyone loved him. And it's this was eh.
This kind of lived up to it. It's nowhere near as good as the first one, but the power is there. I see that the Krenko name has not been sullied.
It's not as good as the first one, but the first one has to be a goblin deck. This is its own thing.
Yeah, counters, equipment, even just static, give it +X+0 and haste or something.
Pumping power in any way for this thing makes it awesome. I really do like Krenko as a card. I have it in my Halana Lane of Partners. It's one of those cards that runs away with the game because you just go, okay, 2 counters, attack 4. Now it's up to 4. Get 4 goblins, and now we're going wide and tall because of 1 creature.
Yeah, with haste, if you manage to throw a Swiftfoot Boots on it or something, or you have an anger in your graveyard, now you're going wide and tall, and they kind of have to wipe the board or just figure out a way to stop you.
Yeah, exactly. I do like that this single card does both, wide and tall.
You just leave it alone, and you're going to die to it.
All right, BZ, I'll let you talk about this one because you absolutely love this card, and you can go off.
It's the green Swords to Plowshares. It's actually Nature's Claim. You destroy an artifact or enchantment for 93 cents. That's actually written on the card. And the controller of it gains 4 life, so in a pinch, you could gain 4 life, but mostly you're just going to take the amazing deal of blowing up the best thing your opponents have for 1 mana, getting mana advantage, giving them life that could not matter less, and feeling great that you didn't spend extra mana on a card with no extra effect.
Yeah, artifacts and enchantments are just as prominent and just as troublesome in Commander as creatures are. So having main board, I mean there's no sideboard, but having cards in your deck to destroy artifacts is super important. 1 mana, instant speed. You can't ask for a better rate than that.
You really can't. I know people have tried. You can't ask for it.
The only rate that's even comparable is 0 mana.
Right. Like Force of Vigor.
Force of Vigor. That's the closest thing that can compare to this, but that card's like $40.
Yeah, so I'm packing Nature's Claim before my Naturalizes, before my Krosan Grips, before basically anything. It's almost the auto-include green card that even if I'm playing a creature deck, I would like to diversify my answers a little bit and play, maybe 3 spell answers to things. This is one of the spells, and it's a budget bomb.
You don't want to lose to Humility, right?
No, I don't.
Yeah, and we do budget bombs all the time. So if you want to lose to Humility, why don't you click on this? Doesn't even make sense. Peace out, Tribe Scout.